This program is brought to you by Emory University.
What they'll see is the extent of the involvement of the whole Atlantic world in the slave trade. There isn't a single port of any size anywhere in the Atlantic that wasn't connected to the slave trade in some way. What we're showing here is that particular ports in Africa had strong connections with particular ports and therefore areas in the Americas. And it's very easy to see those connections the way the data is presented in the form of maps. To take the first section, you look at where the slave ships are originating, but the atlas maps are set up in such a way that you can see where they go in Africa and then where they go in the Americas after they leave the port. And in the second section, which focuses on Africa, then you can see exactly where the major centers of the slave trading business are, but you can also see at the same time where the ships are coming from in Europe and where they're going in the Americas afterwards. And then the same thing's true when we go into the third section, which focuses on the Americas. The unfortunate fact is that people removed from Africa via the slave trade were essentially renamed when they reached the Americas, and sometimes before they left Africa. They were renamed partly because in the case of the Iberians, that is to say the Portuguese and the Spanish, there was a strong emphasis on baptism. It was nominal baptism in many cases, but it effectively for the owners and therefore for the records, which is of course all we have to go on, it meant that the person's identity changed. It's possible to track systematic connections between Africa and the Americas in a way that people have been doing for years between Europe and the Americas. So I think that's probably the most important single contribution that the Atlas would make.
The preceding program is copyrighted by Emory University.